Hey guys, this is our last lesson, and let's go ahead and get started with analyzing graphs. So here it says, Mrs. Hilton's class voted for their favorite subject. Use the graph to help you answer the questions. Okay, so there's math, reading, science, and social studies. And one whole pencil represents 2 students. So the first question says, which subject was most popular? Well, let's look at it. Since a whole pencil represents 2 students, there's 1, 2, 3. That means 3 times 2, right? Which is 6 students picked math. And then it's 1, 2, 3 and a half, right? And then half represents 1 student, right? So that's 6 plus 1, which is 7 students. And then for science, there's 1, 2 and a half. So then again, 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1, which is 5 students picked science. And then social studies, there's 1 and a half. So then 1 times 2 is 2 plus 1 equals 3. So 6 students picked math, 7 students picked reading, 5 students picked science, and 3 students picked social studies, okay? So which subject has the most students? What subject got the most votes? Well, reading did, right? So let's go ahead and write reading. Okay, and then the last question. Mrs. Johnson gave her class a challenge to write a fraction, indicating how many students favored math out of her whole class. Try the challenge. So we have to come up with a fraction that indicates how many students favored math out of her whole class. Okay, so how many students are there in total? Let's first figure that out. Let's first add all of these, which is 6 plus 7 plus 5 plus 3. And that is 21. So in total, we have 21 students. And how many picked math? How many voted for math? 6 students did, right? So then that means from 21 students, 6 students picked math. So there we have our fraction. Okay? Go ahead and try the remaining questions. Let's move on to Roman numerals. So it says, write the values of the Roman numeral given, then try the questions. Well, the I represents 1, the V represents 5, and then the X represents 10. Okay, so let's go ahead and try the questions. So for number 6, so for number 6, that's a 5, right? Plus 1 plus 1. So whenever the smaller number comes on your right, then you add it, okay? And then whenever it comes on your left, then you subtract it. So what I mean by that, that's 5. And then since that's smaller and it comes on your right, you would add 2, okay? Since that's 1 and 1. So then that equals 7, okay? Hopefully that makes sense. Let's look at number 9. I think that would help you guys a little bit more. So that's 10, right? And that's 1. Which one's smaller? Well, 1 is smaller. And the smaller number comes on your left, right? So then you subtract it. So then that would be 10, subtract 1, which is 9. Okay? So Hopefully it's not that challenging for you guys. So let's try to write it on our own now. So 11. Well, what do we need to get 11? We need an x and an I, right? Since that's 10 and a 1, right? And then make sure the smaller number comes on your right to add it. So it can be xi, okay? And then number 19, 8. Well, what do we need? We need a v and then 3 i's, right? 1, 2, 3. And then again, make sure the smaller numbers comes to your right. So let me write it here. Okay. And next. Oh, sorry. Go ahead and try the other ones. Hopefully they're not that challenging. And let's move on to multiplication arrays. It says, write the multiplication problem shown by the array. So what is an array, by the way? Well, it is a group of objects, pictures, or numbers in columns and rows, okay? So then let's try to represent it in a multiplication problem. So let's count it. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So then it would be 7 by 5. So this could be represented as 7 times 5, which is 35, right? So next, we have hexagon addition wall. I think this would be a fun exercise. So then it says, complete the hexagon walls. Each number in the wall is made by adding the two numbers below. The first one is done for you, okay? So let's look at the first one. What this is saying, what the instructions saying is this number, these two numbers, when they're added up, you get the sum of this number, okay? So then here it's 13 plus 7 equals 20, right? And then here, this is 7 plus 5 equals 12. And then 20 plus 12 equals 32, okay? So then let's try it on our own now. Well, I thought you guys would be able to figure it out, right? Since it's just easy additions. But for number 6, we have to do subtractions, right? So what two numbers do you need in order to get 210? Well, any numbers are possible, but let's try the most simple ones. So 210, right? 200 plus 10 equals 210, right? Then now which numbers do you need in order to reach 10? Well, again, let's use the most simple ones, which is 5 plus 5, right? That equals 10. Okay, now let's figure out the last hexagon. Well, in order to get this, right, we could do 200 minus 5, right? Which is 195. So your answer. Let's go ahead and write 195 here, okay? So go ahead and give the other hexagon walls a try. And let's move on to our last worksheet page, word problems. So question number 3 says there were 31 people on a bus. 8 more people got on the bus at the next stop. Then 18 people got off the bus at the last stop. How many people are remaining on the bus? So initially we had 31 people, okay? And then 8 more means plus. add, right? So 8 more people got on the bus, okay? Then 18 people got off the bus, right? Off means minus, subtract. So 18 people got off the bus. So then we just do 31 plus 8, which is 39, right? Minus 18, which is 21. Okay. So we have 21 people remaining on the bus. Go ahead and finish the remaining questions for word problems. And then here is the answer.